Ladies and gentlemen, in early September of 2021, I said there would be a stock market crash on this channel. In the middle of September, I started a stock market crash, actual stock market crash channel. So this is H.A. Goodman, almost 200,000 subs. Hit subscribe. I have a stock market crash channel, almost 20,000 subs. I started that in the middle of September of 2021. In late September of 2021, I said there would be a Bitcoin crash. Okay. Those links and the receipts are below. You can see that I predicted all of this. Okay. I have a Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or below channel. Unfortunately, that's going to take place as well. In October of 2021, I was published in the Federalist explaining why the Democratic Party has their policies caused the stock market crash and the financial downturn, recession, inflation, interest rates increasing, everything we see now. I explain everything within that article that was published in October. Again, if you go to the description, you could see September 9th, 2021. I said stock market crash ready to bankrupt banks, hedge funds, as margin trading at all-time high. That's September 9th, 2021. You can see that I started the stock market crash channel. My first segment was September 16, 2021. Stock market crash imminent as inflation, CPI, PPI rise. Margin debt hits record. Confidence low. And then on September 20th, 2021, I said Bitcoin crash certain as U.S. stock market crash caused by Evergrande default unfolding. Now, in January of 2022, January 22nd, I wrote Joe Biden's Bitcoin crash. I published the segment on YouTube, Joe Biden's Bitcoin crash to 10,000 and Dow Jones falls to 20,000, leading to recession in 2022. I think that 25,000 it'll fall to. I might have been a little bit even more pessimistic than I usually am with the 20,000, but it could fall to 20,000. So I think it's possible it does fall back to 20,000, but I think 25,000 almost certainly it'll get to. Could go to 20,000. The reason I'm spending 2 minutes on this is because I want to let everybody know that I'm not some Johnny-come-lately bandwagon, jumping on the bandwagon type person. I have been saying this. I've been published in the Federalist. I started a stock market crash channel. I have a stock market crash playlist that you can see since September of 2021. I have been telling everybody what's taking place now. Now, there's a lot of people saying the sky is falling. It's going to get much worse. I wasn't just saying the sky was falling. I was explaining, hey, it's going to get really bad. Now, the economy is going to get worse. We're going into a recession, and it's something that the crypto and Bitcoin world has never seen before. I want to explain why Coinbase and Tether officials and Bitcoin officials and within other corporations and entities will get indicted almost certainly by the SEC and by Biden's administration. It'll be the one, unfortunately, bipartisan thing they do, because having caused the crash we're seeing, Democrats, they'll of course grandstand and say, okay, we're going to go after these people who took advantage of, investors in the crypto world. So they'll pretend to be the good guys when in reality they've pumped up and inflated this gigantic massive bubble in both crypto and the stock market. But here, I just want to read you this, and I'm going to explain why people at Coinbase, almost certainly, people at Tether, almost certainly, and other entities, almost certainly, will be indicted for breaking the same laws that Bernie Madoff broke. So I just want to read you. This is his FBI. This is Bernie L. Madoff charged in 11-count criminal information, March 10th, 2009. And I just want to read you this. From at least the 1980s until his arrest on December 11, 2008, Madoff perpetrated a scheme to defraud the clients of his company by soliciting billions of dollars of funds under false pretenses, failing to invest investors' funds as promised, and misappropriating and converting investors' funds to Madoff's own benefit and the benefit of others without the knowledge or authorization of the investors. To execute the scheme, Madoff solicited and caused others to solicit prospective clients to open trading accounts with his company based upon his promise to use investor funds to purchase shares of common stock, options, and other securities of large, well-known corporations, and representations that he would achieve high rates of return for clients with limited risk. However, representations that he would achieve, not guarantees, by the way. However, as Madoff well knew, these representations were false. Madoff failed to invest his client's investment advisory clients' funds and securities as he had promised. Instead, notwithstanding representations that Madoff made and caused to be made on tens of thousands of account statements and other documents sent to the company clients, throughout the operation of the scheme, Madoff operated a massive Ponzi scheme in which client funds were misappropriated and converted to the use of Madoff, his corporation, and others. In connection with the Ponzi scheme, Madoff accepted billions of dollars of investors' money cumulatively from individual investors, charitable organizations, trusts, pension funds, and hedge funds, among others, and established on their behalf thousands of accounts on his platform. Okay. Now, you might say, well, what does this have to do with Coinbase and Tether? I'm going to read you. This is Coinbase's own, we know that they confiscate accounts. We know that there's no customer service. People have sued them because of the customer service and because they're operating as a broker-dealer with the notion that if you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or any crypto or any stablecoin on their platform, you own it in the manner that you own Tesla or Coca-Cola if you had a Charles Schwab account. They're operating as an exchange, but in exchanges, you own the stock or securities. Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch or Charles Schwab, they don't own your securities. In a sense, Coinbase actually owns or can confiscate, and they've stated that before if they go bankrupt, but it's actually on their website. Does Coinbase freeze accounts? It's important for us to distinguish between disabling buy-sell services, closing a Coinbase account, and preventing access to funds. This is going to be used against them almost certainly in a court of law. This is not a disclosure because the representation, their marketing material, how people view them, their, interviews and conferences and speeches by Coinbase officials, their advertising runs contrary to what is actually stated within their website and what they and what their customers initially or currently feel about the company. So Bernie Madoff was indicted and sent to prison forever and lost his life or ended his life in prison for a Ponzi scheme that took hundreds of billions of dollars away from people's retirement accounts. Suddenly, these people went from having a retirement to having to kind of, go into dumpsters to find food, or being kicked out of their homes, being homeless. And so he did this, and if you look, by soliciting billions of dollars of funds under false pretenses. I'm not going to go through the individual laws or statutes that Coinbase and Tether broke or others, but the false pretenses, the promises, the representation, it's all there. The deceptive representation. So if you look, representations that he would achieve higher rates, these representations were false, notwithstanding representations that Madoff made and caused to be made on tens of thousands of accounts. Among the false representations he made to clients and prospective clients about his investment strategies, Madoff marketed an investment strategy referred to as, so these, for example, I'm not building a case against Coinbase now from a legal perspective necessarily. I'm kind of giving you the macro bird's eye view of how this is all going to go down. Bitcoin's going to get to 10,000 or below, whether it's because Coinbase, which is losing a lot of money last quarter, which is when Tether becomes Terra Luna, and its dollar peg goes to basically zero because it's not pegged on anything. You can actually look at it, and you can do the same thing with Tether. You can look at its websites. How are Tether tokens created? This is from the Tether website. Tether tokens are created by having multiple Tether private authorization key sign and broadcast creation transactions on a specific blockchain. Translation, 1980s Dungeons and Dragons campaign where magic user and druid create magical tokens that are pegged to $1. Why? Who knows why? Well, there's only a tiny fraction, 2.9% of reserves that are actual cash, and who knows if even that's true. But the thing's going to go down. It went down to 95 cents already. Okay, this went down to 95 cents already. Okay, so these new tokens are authorized but not issued, meaning that these USDT are stored in Tether's treasury, which, could be the end of a rainbow with a bunch of leprechauns, and not in circulation until issued in response to market demand. And how are they issued? They're issued the same way the Luna was issued. It's basically like the algorithm that just issued token, and when Terra was going under. Now, you have people associated with Terra, Tether, Coinbase, and throughout Bitcoin making false promises, making grandiose statements, making deceptive statements within. Okay, does Coinbase freeze accounts? It's important for us to distinguish between disabling buy-sell services, closing a Coinbase account, and preventing access to funds. This is deceptive because it doesn't state here that if they go bankrupt, they can take your assets and your money. See, if Morgan Stanley or Charles Schwab goes bankrupt, you're still going to own, generally, you're still going to have at least time to transfer the stock, the equity you own in companies to another broker-dealer. If you don't just own it outright no matter what. But here, there's already lawsuits where they're getting hacked, not giving back the hacked clients' customers' money, locking people out. It's all over Reddit. It's all over YouTube. There are people that got locked out of Coinbase. The whole point of crypto is to be like this wonderful, utopian world where, you're not going to get locked out of your account. You're not going to get hacked. You're not going to get promised things and then the opposite takes place, because that's what happens with fiat. Well, again, half of this is supposed to be backed by fiat. Okay, nobody is using Bitcoin, by the way, or Ether or any of these cryptocurrencies to buy groceries. If you could say one person or two people, it's like, no, most people are not. The vast majority of humanity don't pay mortgages, car payments, buy groceries through crypto. And so you can look at their accounts. Tether is not backed one-to-one. They don't have $70+ billion in cash. And they don't have the ability to withstand $20, $30, $40 billion in a removal of funds immediately or within a week or 2 days. They went down to 95 cents. This stable coin went down 95 cents. Why? Because of $7 billion in withdrawals. Okay? So you can look at what the FBI, you could look at the FBI or the DOJ indictments. Now, again, this will happen when the whole thing implodes. You're almost certainly, and I put almost certainly in the title, so I don't want to hear anything. You're almost certainly going to get Coinbase, Tether, Terra, and other Bitcoin, officials, brass, top, personalities getting indicted by the DOJ, because it's a political stunt also by Democrats or by the current administration as they pumped enough money into this economy to inflate numerous bubbles. We're not even talking about the stock market with derivative trades and margin nightmares and derivatives nightmare that tanked Archegos, the hedge fund. You'll have hedge funds go under. You have a lot of companies go under. Okay, and that's going to exacerbate both the crypto world, both worlds, the stock market, traditional, and the crypto universe will implode. Whether one exacerbates the other, who knows what'll come first. We're seeing a simultaneous implosion. But what's going to take place is when all of this implodes in the stock market, that's going to expedite the implosion within the crypto world, or vice versa. Nonetheless, you're going to have institutions also part of lawsuits. These institutions aren't just going to be okay with losing money on Coinbase or because of TERRA, Tether, and TERRA, and all of these other cryptos that go under. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Again, I say this with all due respect. I don't want this to happen. I'm not gleeful. I think that there's good. I think there's good people who work at Coinbase, good people that work at TERRA or are associated with TERRA, good people that work at Tether. Okay, but they're inadvertently or willingly engaging in a Madoff type scheme where millions of good or hundreds of thousands of good, honest citizens, and then you have institutions are losing money, and you have the individuals that they don't have money to pay their car payment now, or they don't have money to pay their mortgage, or they don't have money for food possibly because something at Tether or Coinbase or the price of Bitcoin dropped, which imploded everything because the overall stock market and recession and interest and inflation is catastrophic, which is something, like I said, I predicted all of this last September of 2021. Very few people, I should say nobody was talking about that. Basically nobody aside from myself and a couple other people. So hit subscribe to this channel. I know these segments don't do very well. I have a Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or below channel. I also have a stock market crash channel. I want to do these. I want to do this segment, these types of segments on this channel because I want more people to understand what's taking place. This is a political issue as well, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Bitcoin crash. I have a very important segment on the Bitcoin crash channel. It's below in the pinned comment. I have a very, very important segment on the stock market crash channel. This is a very important YouTube video. Please share it with anyone who thinks I'm nuts.